weeks ago. Well, as it is customary, a ceremony will be organized for Emeka Obioma to be decorated as the NPFL's Top Scorer Award at a date and event to be announced very soon by the Unicel company. Obioma would succeed Chijioke Akonetio, who won the Top Scorer Award in the 2021-22 season and received 3.8 million naira for scoring 18 goals for Rivers United in their trophy-winning season. Who has showed a lot of class and quality, and of course gets himself some big money. Well, we also know that the state governor of Abia State, Mr. Alex Uti, will also be hosting the Eyimba Football Club crew, and of course every single member of the team that contributed to helping the team win their 9th league title in history. Well, there's a date and of course a venue to be communicated very soon by the Abia State government. We'll watch this space, and of course we'll take you through the stories as they come in hard, thick and fast. We hear that they're going to be getting some very, very enticing rewards for winning the Nigerian Professional Football League title the just concluded season. Well, moving on now, let's talk about something else, and that's about Nigerians and transfer stories. Serie A outfit AS Roma are the latest clubs to be linked to the move to get Leicester City forward Kelechi Iheanacho. According to Italian news outfit Gazzetta dello Sport, the Gallo-Rossi are prepared to sign Iheanacho and his teammate Patson Daka this summer. Roma's general manager Thiago Pinto flew to London on Monday to conduct the transfer business. Pinto could also be looking to meet with the representatives of Iheanacho and Patson Daka in a bid to get these players of Leicester City. Well, we know that Leicester City last season, and of course they've suffered poor form in the course of last season. The story is that Roma and Jose Mourinho is looking to get Iheanacho to the club, and there's also talks about Besiktas looking to also sign Iheanacho from Leicester City. But all of that is pepper talk until we see and get concrete offers from these different clubs. Signed Victor Osimhen. He's 24 and is one of the most coveted players in world football right now. He's got 31 goals in 39 games to help Napoli to the Serie A title for the first time in over 30 years, as well as finishing as the league's top scorer. Manchester United, PSG and Chelsea are also interested in signing Victor Osimhen in this particular summer transfer window. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, the Reds talk about Liverpool and unprepared to battle these teams to sign the striker, with offers expected to be coming in the next couple of days. That Liverpool are also looking to sign Kylian Mbappe, but that's a conversation for in the course of the show. What we hear right now, the Liverpool have towards Victor Osimhen as a potential man to lead the attack for next season. You're Victor Osimhen, would you choose Liverpool right now? Of course, the uncertainty surrounding his future at Napoli with the arrival of the new coach Rudy Garcia. He stay, he leave position for the course of the show. A conversation like right now, and of course we get him into the action as it's getting very hot. Good afternoon, Blyden. Welcome to the show, and better late than never, right?
Yeah, absolutely, especially with this weather. But let's get to the action and talking point and see what the action would be.
All right, so we'll start from the Unicel Golden Boot winner, Emeka Obioma. Fantastic performance from last season for Eyimba Football Club. They went on to win the title, and Obioma's 16 goals helped Eyimba to the title as well. And there are conversations about, it's normal. This is the 8th time Unicel Limited will be handing out an award to the player, particularly. But of course, there are conversations about the fact that in the winner of this award happens to leave the country at the end of the day, from Akoneto to Charles Ashimene to Sunusi Ibrahim to Mfonudo. It goes way back. And now, this kind of quality shouldn't just leave the shores of the country, because we should be fighting to keep this kind of quality in the team. in order to help improve our league?
Well, I was expecting you to start with a name like Emeka Obioma, then followed up before mentioning the
Emeka Obioma goes way back to
Okarandoro Rock.
Orok, Bolaha Salami, Junior Lokosa. It's a really long list of players.
I'm starting from home. You're still going far.
All right. Start from home, like.
But here's a conversation, Mari. Quite exciting at the first instance that this man was able to win the award in 3.2 million naira. And it makes a lot of sense. Quite a motivation. And according to UNICEF, it was all about that 200,000 naira per goal. And it makes sense. Quite a good motivation, as I always talk about it, because you never can tell. The next player in the NPFL is looking at it and think to themselves, if I get to score enough goals, the more goals I score, the more money I make. That's obviously what happens at the end of it. But always going to be that complaint when you move towards the end of the season. And realize that the seasoned professionals are leaving the league. And the sad fact is, they're not leaving the league. At least if it's to Eastern Europe, it would make sense. Or some part of European countries, it would make sense for me. Well, even some European countries
some of them deserving to go. Second tier in Bangladesh.
No disrespect to the likes of Lithuania and the rest. That's the conversation. But the beauty of it is, these guys are doing well, but the concern would always be that of the Super Eagles. I always say it, Marisol, when a player scores a number of goals for the for the home side, everyone clamors, let's invite this player to the national team. When they leave to obscure leagues, we forget about them as quick as possible. So the league is devoid of seasoned players, and it's not good for them.
So now, this man has scored 16 goals last season, won the Golden Boot Award at the end of the day. And as we're talking about right now, it's almost become a normal thing. When they get this award in, they get some attention, they leave the country. And we'll always be clamoring for Super Eagles coaches to call up home-based players. Who are the home-based players to call up? Are these ones who are exceptional, but they leave the country. So how do we get these players to stay and, of course, be exceptional enough to get called up to the national team?
I think we have to begin with the lack of the television issues that we have, the broadcasting issues that we have in the country.
Absolutely.
I think that it's really important that these boys, they need that more eyes on them. They need that exposure. They need that level of appearance to be able to, you can't just limit them to the resources available here in Nigeria. I think it's really a sad thing that most of our best players over the years, they really have to go out to get, what they are going after is greener pastures, and it's really sad that we can't give them over here in Nigeria with the amount of resources we have. I think to me, I think going into Europe is something that every footballer dreams about. I think at the end of the day, you see that no matter who they are, no matter which club they play for, no matter how it is, they don't dream of staying in Nigeria for a long time. They always want to take that leap. They always want to get that more exposure. And I think it's really important because it also improves their game. It gives them that leverage as well to be able to, get among their peers, get better than. But then this man has performed so well this season. He has performed excellently well this season, leading them to the championship as well, and getting them that trophy once again, back-to-back champions. I think, to me, I wouldn't say he deserves the move, but he's a good player. Yeah, he's done very well for him season. 16 goals in the season in such a
a very tough league.
In a tough league such as that, and the way it was this season, two groups,
a bridge version,
yeah.
Two groups. So it's not regular for you to have such amount of goals, to back such amount of goals. I was even hoping probably Imadi from Vendor Insurance was able
Imadi stopped at some point, sadly,
to cover up. But then this shows the tenacity. This shows how good this man is. This shows how talented he is. So I think, congratulations to him.
Kudos to the 24-year-old man. Blyden, on Monday we reported that young Africans made $830 billion on ticket sales. It means that the fans come to watch their games in stadiums, right?
Yeah.
And then different competitions have participated in the Tanzanian Cup, the Tanzanian Premier League, and of course the CAF Competitions Cup, where they went all the way to the final. Now, how do we get our league to be that attractive to, of course, get to see fans come to watch them? Because you already talked about visibility. And one good form of visibility is when you see stadiums packed watching you. It makes you proud. So how do we get to that level where players enjoy visibility on the pitch and, of course, on air?
Mari, just as I always say, one of the biggest pain of the Nigerian Professional Football League has been the fact that we have players that have been around in and around the scene for so long. And the transition between we have younger players transit into top-level football is so far off, so difficult. Exception of the fact that in recent times we're going to see the under-15 tournament take place, and it makes more sense. But look, Mari, there ought to be a sequence. When players are advancing in age, they leave the scene, one way or the other. When players are moving away to Europe, How are we bringing new players to the scene? That has been one of the biggest concerns.
All right.
Just as I always say, Mari, the attraction in football is driven by teamwork, and teamwork is built around quality play and quality players. The more quality players we have, the more organization we have, the more good contracts and better contracts we have, the more we look at players' welfare, the more we try to put football on TV, the more there's organization, the more there's safety in the stadium. Also, the more there's fairness when it has to do with regulation. And I think the IMC for doing this, in the long run, we're going to see it work when it matters most. Yeah. It's all about making it work. I think Nigerian football can work.
It's also important that we also have to, something that I forgot to put in that list was the infrastructure. I think the infrastructure should really come into, it should really be considered.
You look at our stadiums, you look at, facilities.
I can't even run in plenty stadiums around here.
This man wants to run.
I can't run around.
I think there'll be an improvement. Maybe the reason I didn't quite put it because sometimes I remember 8 years ago it was so terrible.
Now, and last season and two seasons ago, the IMC, the LMC and the IMC at some point would go around checking different stadiums to see if they meet the capacity and of course have the basic amenities. We're talking about ambulances, talking about scoreboards,
security as well.
Security, the state of the pitch of play. So gradually getting to fix that, but that's just one part of the bigger conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We ought to do more. It ought to get better because when there's facilities, it means there's improvement. It means there's quicker, better exposure for the players and the teams.
All right. Well, of course, let's move on and talk about something else. By the way, we hope that things are going to get better in the country because at this point, we have to compete at the highest level. We are Nigeria, and we call ourselves the Giants of Africa. We should show that, especially in football. The Super Falcons blind on Winter special welfare dinner before they depart for the highly anticipated Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. According to the report, to get the event is scheduled for this Saturday, the 1st of July 2023 in Abuja. All notable members of the executive committee of the NFF are expected to be there. And following the farewell dinner, around the World Drum squad comprised of 23 players and officials embark on a 15-day final training camp in Australia. The camp will serve as the last preparation phase before the commencement of the Women's World Cup on July 20. The edition marks Nigeria's 9th appearance at the World Cup. They have been placed in Group B alongside Canada, Australia, and Republic of Ireland. And of course, their first game comes up against Canada at the Melbourne Rectangular Stadium on the 21st of July 2023. Well, we've seen the squad, we've seen the players called up to the team. We have our reservations, but at this point, this is what we have, and this is what we're taking to Australia. Can we do the damage?
Well, I would want to see them do the damage, but of what happened.
It's a dinner.
A dinner when the national team wants to move.
Then they task them.
Is it really a tax? This will give some motivational tax, but it doesn't change much at the end of it. But here's the conversation. It's all about the quality of the team you bring to the World Cup and the coach you have, the technical crew. And when I look at this Nigerian side, personally, you said you have reservations. I have no hope. Mine is worse than reservation. That's a conversation because I've seen our performances in recent times. And looking at the teams they're playing against, I always talk about Olympic champions. Canada, they are the highest ranked team in FIFA ranking in that group, Canada. Afterwards, Australia. Nigeria's never beaten Australia before. We've made a couple of times. We've not beaten Australia before. And our football is far, far, far ahead of us. And that's the conversation. So the only team I think Nigeria can beat in that group is Republic of Ireland, who are debutants. And so far, if I'm expecting you to have only 3 points, which I think the debutants might even surprise Nigeria, based on current form that we have, Arizona, the best we can have from that group is 3 points. But the worst would be 1 point.
All right, so that's the conversation. Well, we're trying to track some reports of politics in the list, the politics, the drama behind the list and the Falcons World Cup preparations. But it's a conversation for tomorrow. We're hearing about some players who were not called up and they're making loads of humongous allegations as to the reason why they were not called up. Well, the biggest name is Ngozi Okobi. She wasn't called up to the team, which was quite... has sparked a lot of surprise for me because she's been regular with the national team. But we'll talk about these stories because we hear there's drama. And, of course, they are now pointing accusing fingers and a lot of people. Until before we talk about something else, Kelechi Iheanacho is in the news this afternoon talking transfers. AS Roma, Jose Mourinho's club, are looking to sign this man from Leicester City. And I'm looking at Iheanacho last season. I was talking to Blyden this morning and I told him that you cannot put Leicester City's misfortune on Iheanacho. When he was called up to play, he did his very best, but sadly he was
5 to 6 years in England, doing some good things in England. He's been on the good rate. He's been on a good list. Couple of goals each season. I think he's bagged at least 10 goals per season. So I think it's a good buy for Roma. I think Roma is going to be the one who will benefit more because Iheanacho is an excellent player. Iheanacho is a good, skilled, controlled, good player, of course. So Mourinho, of course, knows what he wants in a player. And I think, yes, Iheanacho is the kind of player who will fit into AS Roma easily. And, of course, AS Roma, they really need more players, going into the Champions League. I think they really need more players.
All right, so let's talk about Victor Osimhen as well. We hear that Liverpool are looking to sign the man. It's a conversation for at some point in the show. But let's take our first batch of calls here. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Liverpool, Manchester United, PSG, and Chelsea all looking for Victor Osimhen. It's an interesting conversation, but we'll take calls in right now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show. Welcome, and if you're Michael.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, I congratulate Emeka Obioma for his success. Then, secondly, if Victor Osimhen have an opportunity to play for Liverpool, that's better because Liverpool are Champions League contenders. That's for Victor Osimhen. Then, secondly, for the other man to Roma.
Iheanacho.
It's very good for him, yes. It's very good for him because for him to play in a relegation is not good for him. So that's my view. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you're Michael, for talking to us this afternoon, we're still taking calls in 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Good afternoon. Yes.
I'm Christian.
Please go ahead.
I want to talk about Victor Osimhen. Let Victor Osimhen think twice for the job he wants to win to. Because of his career. Hello, Mary.
Yes, I can hear you, brother man. Please go ahead.
All right. Let Victor Osimhen think twice for the job he went to.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. Welcome to the show. Yes, name and location. All right, let's go ahead. Thank you very much.
Manchester United want to go and sign Osimhen. They can't even sign common man. They want to go and sign people get Wahala forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us. All right, so I was trying not to get into this Osimhen conversation because it's something we've been talking about over time, and the man is chilling in Nigeria, enjoying himself. He's not thinking too much about where he moves now from Napoli. He's letting his agent do the thinking. The man is chilling. I tell you, Blyden, I saw clips and videos. But let's talk about Victor Osimhen now. The possibility of going to Liverpool. First of all, Liverpool they've got strikers. They just got Darwin Núñez just last season, and then there's Diogo Jota and all of that. Victor Osimhen to Liverpool is already something that looks almost impossible for me, Blyden.
Well, I wouldn't want to think so. Osimhen brings something different from the rest of the strikers you've talked about.
At Liverpool?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at Darwin Núñez. But on the other hand, talk about Liverpool first. As a club, we know a club that loves winning. They've won the Champions League a couple of times in recent years, and it speaks volume about the mentality of the side. Last season, they had a slump. I think Victor Osimhen would be a good fit. But come on. If you look at Liverpool last season, and you know what they're about to rebuild, it's going to be a lot of work. Considering the fact that Manchester City are on top of it, I do not want Liverpool
we understand, the interest with Liverpool and all of that, but is the attacking position Liverpool's priority position right now for signings? Look at the midfield. They lost how many midfielders last season? Like 3. And they've gotten in just 1. So why would you be thinking about your attack where it's already stacked up, leaving the middle of the park where you might go in next season and get very porous there?
Well, Mario, you know the transfer period is still wide
Very
open.
fresh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think definitely Liverpool, they are always a team who goes in all. They go all out during the transfer period, and it's no surprise to me that they are also in the race for Osimhen. Of course, Osimhen, he did wonders at Napoli last season. Of course, I'm not surprised as well seeing Liverpool go for him. But then, I don't think it's going to be a bad destination for him either, because I think Jurgen Klopp is a decent coach. He's a very good coach. He's won titles. He's proven himself to be one of the best in Europe. But then I think Osimhen is a top player. So whichever club he wants to go to should be a top club for me.
All right. Yeah.
Let me just add this when it has to do with Victor Osimhen. He's an impact player. You're talking about midfielders, talking about attack. Look, the players you bring into your team, you change the dynamics of.
Is he going to do the job? Is he going to do the job of James Milner or the job of the midfielders that have left the club?
Mario, we're talking about mentality of the club.
It's understood. Like we understand that. Now let's settle something. Victor Osimhen got a lot of credit, and of course he deserves it. But there are players who do the dirty job in the middle of the park. Andre Frank Zambangisa, Stanislas Lobotka. You know, these players, the bulk of the dirty job. They made it easy for Osimhen to score those goals because there were no concerns about defending. You know, so fix these issues first before we talk about getting Osimhen.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Those issues would come on. If you look at Liverpool now, they still have decent three midfielders. Two are not at that absolute prime, but they're decent midfielders compared to some of the boys.
How decent?
Fabinho is a decent midfielder.
No, Fabinho is injury prone. We've seen him barely plays games anymore. He's over 30.
Does that make him not a decent midfielder? Mari is decent. If you look at the statistics, he's had a couple of games.
All right, so let's talk consistency then.
But here's the thing, Mari. You bring a Guisa in, it doesn't change the fortune of the club. Look, for instance, but we bring Victor Osimhen into that club right now, it changes the entire mentality of the club.
So sign Victor Osimhen, forget about the midfield position?
Not necessarily. Sometimes midfield might not be a super name. Just have some additions. But the truth is, the moment you bring an impact player to a club, just like in those days you brought, Victor is not at the level of Ronaldinho and some of the biggest superstars. But look, Mario, they're impact players. Erling Haaland, we saw the impact at Manchester City. Many people say, oh, Manchester City had all these players. But the moment Erling came, the numbers changed. The pressure came in. They had to win the Champions League, and Champions League they won it.
All right.
It should be the same for Liverpool if Victor Osimhen goes there.
It's
Let's take 25 seconds.
Yeah, it's very important for Liverpool to go into the market and get a midfielder. Signing just McAllister alone and then going quiet in the radar, I don't think it's going to help them with this season. If they have to be a competition I don't think right now there's no team that's going to be.
Imagine if Fabinho gets an injury.
There is no team presently that is a competition that's going to be able to compete with Manchester City. And if they want to do that, they need to bring in midfielders. Midfielders are going to do the bulk of dirty work for you. You can't do that with Fabinho.
We all agree to that.
You can't do that with Fabinho. Whether you bring in Osimhen or not,
all right,
it's not going to change. It's not going to change anything.
Points noted, Biden.
Before you go,
yeah.
Here is it. Keep side by side. If you were to keep Victor Osimhen as a choice and keep bringing just a midfielder, what would you do if you were Liverpool? Come on, Vic.
All right, well, that's a conversation. We'll take two calls here and then we'll glide to transfers. Well, in Nigeria, rice is around 32,000 naira per bag. But in England, it's 105 million pounds. I don't know why. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Mary.
Yeah. Tiap Ghana, welcome.
Archie and all that. Money is the one no fun. Anybody have pocketed 100 million naira, prize money, fine. But from what I learned, they are still earning their free and minimum salary. NPFL should do the needful. As they are meeting the state government on Thursday. Again, money, not the state government. I mean, this state government and some good Samaritans check the lack of economic transparency.
All right.
Concern.
Thank you.
It's very sad. I can't have an ultra modern set of money. Why protest parties that are one lawyer for this state, not money for medical treatment? Find out the money. Collection attempts to move forward to age moment. Probably going there, money will use going to parties, segmenting carry. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Going to parties, interesting. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. All right, go ahead.
Look, I want to say that the Electric Nigeria should move to AS Roma. That money will bring the guy. I should not go and play for some championship. But for Chelsea, I don't know what Chelsea my club are doing. They are selling.
Hello.
They should try and sign players so that our team can.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. We take this call before we talk about Arsenal and Rice. Maybe Vince too. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Mark. It's Israeli calling from here.
Let's go ahead. Israeli, it's been a while. Yourself.
I've been trying to reach you guys, but you know.
Israeli, you don't have your.
People have 10,000 on
Already, go ahead, Israel.
All right. First of all, I want to congratulate the striker that won the initial golden boot. 3.2 million, that's huge.
Big money.
In Nigeria, if you can be able to score to 25 goals, not in their pitch version, 5 million, that's big money. So that's a really big encouragement for our young guys out there in the street that they can start in Nigerian professional football league. They can hit some way. And concerning the transfer window, my team Arsenal, if they can cough out 105 million pounds for Declan Rice, that means something fishy is going on. I hope to see them going forward. That's my take on the show.
Thank you very much, Israel. All right, so well, Blyden, let's bring the Rice conversation right now. By the way, I have intentions of eating rice this evening. Well, Arsenal submitted a third bid worth £105 million for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. City, who had a £90 million offer, rejected it Tuesday, would not. They've backed out. So it's now Arsenal and West Ham on the bid. Now, a group of people say that. Now, this is a conversation. The former England international Eniola Aluko, she's on Nigeria. She said she's alleging that after Arsenal were dilly-dally with the bid, Ateta called Pep and told Pep, I beg, offer make an offer for this guy and improve the offer so that my bosses would be serious. And somehow people feel like City pushed the Arsenal board to improve this bid. You think so?
No, I think it's very critical for Arsenal at this moment that they have to get this guy. This is Declan Rice we're talking about. You don't really need any.
You keep saying this is Declan Rice.
Believe me, this guy in the next 2-3 years, this guy is going to be top class. Whatever we're going to do by now, in the next 2-3 years, this guy is going to be the top. He's going to be one of the top in the world. So I believe that Arsenal, they have to spend. Yeah. You don't just, they are not on any project anymore. At least before now, you will say, okay, Arsenal will not spend because they are building Emirates. Yeah. But now,
and moreover, they don't have any financial fair play limitations.
What Arteta has built with that team last season, I think they need to build on that momentum. They need to come out and build on that momentum.
Right.
It's very important that you have to bring in top players to be able to make in that squad.
Blyden, it doesn't stop here because there should be a lot more enforcement. You saw what happened to them last season. One of the reasons why they couldn't get to that title, of course, we talked about it, strength in depth, quality in depth. It shouldn't stop with Declan Rice. They should go on to make quality signings and even perform better next season, right?
Why we keep talking about Arsenal as if Arsenal sealed the deal? They've not sealed the deal yet.
Well,
it's a transfer window, man.
Well, Blyden, as things stand right now, the only team that would have matched this bid. First of all, let's look at the indications. City have backed out. That's one. And then secondly, Declan Rice has said that he wants to stay in London.
Right, you're jumping in so quickly. Today, Kav has made a video which leaks in the media by Arsenal, but the deal has still not been confirmed.
You think so, Blyden?
Is Kav as an Arsenal player now?
Not confirmed by Arsenal, but we know these things already.
So what's keeping them? What's keeping them?
Here we go.
But here's a conversation about the deal.
Right.
The good thing about the deal is no club is interested. But if a club is interested, they can still hijack the deal away from Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Negotiations at this point, Mari says, Arsenal are paying £100 million in cash and $5 million in add-ons. But why are we still having negotiations? The fact is, Arsenal wants to pay this money in 5 years. That's the problem with Arsenal Football Club.
I think. See, the deal is that West Ham are trying to make the most of the situation.
Exactly.
They are trying to make sure that they take advantage of this guy's son.
We also West Ham are also making sure that all parties win. They want to win. They want Declan Rice to win. They want Arsenal to win as well. So that's why they're looking forward to seeing Arsenal make a better payment structure for this game. In 5 years is a really long time.
West Ham are saying, make the payment in 2 parts. By 2025, we should get the cash. That's a conversation from a Western point of view.
But do you think all of this dilly-dallying would restrict, would limit the move and maybe break over the move?
It's really complicated. It's really going to get complicated if they can't get this done. It's really going to be.
You think all of this is big enough to not, after the dilly-dallying, Arsenal table this money, and then all of this happens, and Declan Rice stays at West Ham or goes to another club other than Arsenal?
This is a conversation. I think if Manchester United were to be able to make a sale, because Manchester United interested in Declan Rice.
We're going there after Declan Rice, actually.
They were actually interested in Declan Rice, but the financial fair play, which we probably will talk about it next.
Absolutely.
It's a condition. But if they get to sell players, you never can tell what could happen. So for me, Arsenal have to seal this deal, seal Kai Havertz deal. Let's get done with it. It's getting too long from my standpoint.
All right. Well, that's a conversation from here. Well, let's talk about Manchester United. Well, the fans have been crying and wailing and lamenting. Sign us players. But dear Manchester United fans, your club have money to spend this summer, but their transfer budget has been squeezed by financial fair play restrictions, according to reports. United, they posted a positive financial results on Tuesday with the revenue up to 11%. And of course, it's now at 170 million pounds by the end of March 31. So they have the money, but sadly, they cannot spend this money blind. And we hear that Ten Hag has been given the transfer limit of 120 million pounds to spend, and that will go for just sometimes goes for just one player, particularly. So now, in order to extend this FFP limits, they have to sell players, right? Offset the wage bill, get some cushion in. Now, how difficult would that be for United to let players off right now and not upset the wage bill in time before the transfer market closes?
I love the way he's folding his hands.
Difficult in what terms to let off players?
First of all, you have to let them off in time. Get money and get your transfer targets.
I understand. It's not a matter of letting off players. Of course, these players you can always let off players anytime you want to let off players. But it's who are going to get these players from you? Who's going to get Maguire from your hand? Who's going to get Fred from your hand? Who is going to get Scott McTominay from your hand? It's a lot of going back and forth stuff. And of course, you have to, when going into the market, you have to take your time and spend money wisely. 120 million, you can just go and bid for Declan Rice and just relax.
Get a young star from
just relax for the season.
Like Ekwe has said, some of these players are not as attractive in the market. You know, Harry Maguire, Anthony Martial, Declan Rice, you know, Scott McTominay and the rest of them, Fred. You know, so how precarious is United's situation right now in a bid to get themselves quality for next season?
Quite difficult for Manchester United. That's why I was laughing. You know, when I was younger, this thing we used to say, when something is so funny, and you try to make a joke about the other person, and you say, probably, it's our laughing Chinese. The laughter I gave was that kind of laughter, almost in Chinese.
I laugh in Qatari for United.
But here's the thing, Mari. Here's the thing from a Manchester United point of view. I think they've demarketed that player so much. Fred, I hear the price tag for Fred.
Now, that's good. By demarketing, what do you mean by demarketing the players?
Yeah, they really, especially the fans and the club, they really project the players in a bad light. Some of these players are not that bad. But because of the era of the social media, and when you really project these players as not good enough, guess what?
They lose value.
They lose value because the rest of the clubs are looking at these players at the same light.
Now, is that the case that the United fans, United, faithfuls have, by those words, demarketed the United players, that they don't look attractive for the clubs to side anymore? Is that the case?
No, that's not the case, absolutely. That's very incorrect. I think these players are still top players. Jadon Sancho is still
are they shown in the media as top players? For instance,
that's
Fred. If we go to social media now to look at Fred reviews, what's the predominant review? Is it that he's a bad player or a good player?
You're not going to buy a player based on what you see on social media.
But you know, the media forms the basis for your valuation.
This club, they have scouts.
Power.
Yes,
this club, they have scouts. They know what they're doing. So you just can't base a player what these players they deliver. They absolutely deliver. Manchester United had a very good season. Of course, they had a very good season. They came back with a trophy. It's of course it's something to applaud the manager for his first season in England.
Right. So, Bladden, take 25 seconds before we take calls.
Mari, the Manchester United player with the highest value in the market currently, as of the last I checked, is Jadon Sancho, and it's 45 million pounds. Harry Maguire is rated at 40 million pounds, and I'm telling you, lots of clubs will go for it. So most of these players, United has said to sell them half of the prices they bought them. Look at the likes of Telles. Telles, £10 million. I'm like, what? Fred, £20 million. It is this bad for Manchester United.
Right.
And it goes further to portray the point of men. They demarcated this player. That's been the conversation. So the players are not valuable in the market because everywhere you go to, look at Chelsea players, even with a bad season.
Kai Havertz went for £65 million.
I don't agree that Manchester United
25 seconds ago, so we take calls.
I don't agree that Manchester United players are devalued. I think they have good value in the market.
Well, it's £40 million for Sanchez that was signed for over £100 million.
Most of the players in Manchester United are they earn high. They earn high, and it's going to be really hard for you to be able to get a player from Manchester United and still maintain that salary structure.
All right, well, that's the conversation. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. We take calls in a great takes us to Facebook very, very soon. We're on the phone lines. Good afternoon. Okay. Okay. Hey!
I beg, say agree, say that agree here, that you should leave our opinion to go to Liverpool. I can never walk alone. Crisis can never finish in second house. I don't want to talk much. Crisis will surely remain in second house. So there's no other comment about it. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Yoki, for talking to us. Top Gunner. Good afternoon.
Maybe in future, as one of the analysts said, the captain has tired of hijacking the Baraba club. But see, Mari, I will attract him to see remain and not maybe like 1 year more. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner. Victor has been trying. Victor, you're here now. Yeah, the Victor. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Emmanuel and Clarence. Maradona, let me talk about the you both started with the break session of the league. Let me say that I'm not at the break session of the league, touching on what IMT were expecting and the team that participating, what they're able to put in. This season has been so nice for the NPFL and also motivate for the next season. So the players in Nigeria must do well because the coach of Super Eagles must do best to get the players.
You're right, Victor.
And also for Quiet to let them prepare for the next season.
Thank you very much, Victor, for talking to us. We'll take one more call, 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. A great text us to Facebook after then. Welcome, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Arizona.
Welcome, name and location.
It's Nick.
Oh, Nick, it's been a while. How you doing, Nick?
I'm okay.
Blyden has missed you.
Yeah, I missed Blyden as well. Good afternoon, Emmanuel.
Please go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, I want to talk about United. Particularly.
All right.
Well, I like the situation in front of 7.
You never liked him.
I wasn't comfortable with it from the beginning, though. Well, I just want the Qatari to take over so that he could bring out a good manager. Not somebody like The Hague. The Hague is learning on the job, so I like the situation in front of 7.
All right.
For Fred is not that bad. It's just that it's playing under a bad system. And as for Arsenal, I think that Clarence is a good signing. I want them to go for him. At least I want them to contest the City next season.
Thank you.
Arsenal is the only club that's going to give City a good fight. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Nick. We appreciate your thoughts every time you come on the show. Good afternoon, Toles on the line.
Hello, Mari. Good afternoon.
Toles, how far?
Bye. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
All right, go ahead.
You see, all these other players. See, let me tell you. You see, McTominay and Fred, they can walk into any team in the world. Any person in the world and get starting lineup. But I'm telling you, those boys are those boys are players. But I can't hear you well.
I can hear you, Toles. Go ahead.
Those guys are footballers. Those are sometimes they decided to do their things. Understand? So that's what is wrong. Those are very good players. Even you can walk into Chelsea and play with it. Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool. So those guys are very good
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
Another quality for the team.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Ekwere, take us to Facebook. You ready?
Yeah. And this comes from our Planet 101.1 FM page. This is from Eki Ekanem. He says, I will urge Victor Osimhen to stay another season at Napoli and get another standout season. As for my team Chelsea, they continue to declare out. Up Dakada, up Aqua United, up Chelsea. I'm Ekwere, watching live from Kaduna State. Thank you very much. We have UBXL here. He says, good afternoon, sports crew from here with the cold weather in Lagos. Normally, rice in Nigeria is expensive here, so UK rice will be flop massive. All right, and we have Imo Mbekwe here. He says, good afternoon, Mario and Sport Raiders in the house. These guys are following Chelsea and Man United to flex their financial muscle. Just hope they don't bring in another Maguire or something that will make them a linesman teammate. Wow. And we have here from Bakayoko Potosky. Good morning, sports crew. I want to ask Arsenal paying £105 million for Rice. Did he have money to buy? Did you have money to buy other players again? I'm very happy for my team Chelsea selling out old players. I think Chelsea will replace them with good quality players, quality players. And also from the transfer news, I think we still have one from North London. I think Tottenham has agreed a big deal in placement for James Maddison. I think it's really going to be a good addition for them, and also with Newcastle, Sandro Tonali, I think is also going to be.
Sandro Tonali, let's do James Maddison.
It's going to be a completed deal soon.
Yeah, let's do James Maddison. From the £40 million player. He's not somebody that Blyden likes, and I'll start with you. What do you think?
It's a very good addition to
Tottenham
Hotspur. It's a very, very good, massive addition to them. I think he had a very outstanding season with Leicester City, even though they got relegated, but I think he was able to make 1 or 2 appearances with England and was able to prove his worth as well to the team. Very good player, very experienced, very good on the ball. I think he's very needed because as it is right now, Tottenham, they lack that creativity in the midfield. So I think he's going to bring
in central midfielders and forget about attacking. Now, I know of a fact that you are not a man that fancies James Maddison. Not today, not tomorrow, not forever. Now, what are the pitfalls in his game that might limit his survival and success at Tottenham?
Well, let me start by saying this.
You want to debunk the rumors?
Quite hard for me to
Go ahead and debunk them.
Let me say this. I think it's a good move for James Maddison moving to Tottenham.
I wasn't expecting that.
I do not think that he's of the mental capacity at the Tottenham midfield at the moment. When I look at other midfielders in that mix, who've not really worked out for them over time. I saw Richarlison last season quite struggle with the side, but I want to see what a new coach would do. And Postecoglou, who bring up decent performance for the side. But here is it, Mari. Look, I know you want to come and take it easy, but look, Mari, here's a conversation about Maddison. I think he could be a better player under a better coach that brings lots of discipline to his game.
Right.
Under Brandon Rodgers, it was just careless. He was baby-seated. That's the way I always look at it. When I look at the number of times he made mistakes that nearly could cost him, instead of attacking the ball, and the number of times he hung on to the ball instead of passing the ball, then I understand he has a lot to learn in football. I hope that Ange would be able to teach him all this, and he could release the ball and give the attacking pass that everyone is talking about. But personally, let me get to it. I do not think he's up there.
All right, let's not leave James. Let's talk Harry Kane. Now, there's a conversation about the movement to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And Daniel Levy, we know he's a very staunch businessman. If he tells you no, it's no.
I think Tottenham are going to receive nothing less than 80 million for Harry Kane, and it's a really big bargain because he's
30.
He's 30
now,
years
would Daniel Levy accept £80 million in your words for Harry Kane from Bayern Munich?
Anything lesser than £80 million won't go well with Daniel Levy, as we all know. He's going to be a tough man, and he would like to make the most out of the Harry Kane movement. I think, and also I really believe that Tottenham had a very rough season last season. I think it was very tough with them, and I think bulk of these issues, not with the goal scoring. Of course, we saw Harry Kane delivering up to 25 goals for the team. I think most of the issues they have was in the midfield. Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg is not really a good player to go forward and give all those creative passes, taking free kicks and stuff like that. Heung-min Son, of course, an excellent player. Richarlison had a very poor season. Dejan Kulusevski, he's he's been injury prone the whole season, and it's a really big deal for them because of course the player has a lot of quality, but then his fitness is a really big problem for them. But James Madison coming in, I think that's the perfect source for them.
So you Hurricane, you stay or you go?
I'll go.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Great prepares 2 more transfer stories for us as we take that to bounds. What we hear that Manchester United and Chelsea are set to sit on the table of probably a bundle of things to decide on Mason Mount's future. They want to meet face to face to decide on the story. Well, Chelsea are saying £65 million. United are saying we have £55 million, and that's been the back and forth recently. But let's take a few calls in before we bounce. There's no show without Mr. Easy. Good afternoon, Mr. Easy.
Yeah, thank you for analysis. I want to quickly comment on transfer. United, a lot of systems been in the high profile of names. How many players are United goes on for £50 million in each market? They are protesting yesterday that the Glazer House should sell the club. What is concerned Glazer House with the United predicament? I think what United have sold is what they are reaping now. So I think Chelsea, if I was in the Chelsea board, I should have taken Mason Mount to £80 million so that they pay you the sum of money that
Miss Daisy, Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
What you wish for somebody might also wish for you. Liverpool are making signings, remember?
We make signing, but we do not have such a rundown.
Thank you.
In the market value.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're still talking Tottenham. Guglielmo Vicario is the name of their new goalkeeper. He signed from Empoli for a 5-year contract. He's the second signing under Ants Postecoglou, as Kulusevski deal has been made permanent by Tottenham Hotspur. He's 26, impressed at 30 years at Empoli. Showed a lot of class and quality. We're back on the phone lines. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Yes. All right, Nick.
Yes, I don't think. What's the difference between Mason Mount and Scott McTominay? I want to know.
The names, my brother. The names.
Nick, I think the difference is one has MM, the other has SM.
Apparently, one is valued at his previous club, and the other is
the wrong way for me. There's no need. Mason Mount is not going to do anything at United. Please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for controversial views. Yeah.
I think it gets even more interesting for them, especially now that they have to sit on the table.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be quite difficult for Manchester United at this point because many clubs get to understand that going through this bargain difficulties, they have to sell more players. So come on, when you're negotiating, you're telling them, bring the last straw, the last money to it. Let's see what gets to happen then.
All right, so well, former Juventus boss Andrea Pirlo has been appointed the new manager of Serie B side Sampdoria. Well, not all good players turn out to be good coaches, and Pirlo's theory is that one. Well, Sampdoria got relegated last season from the Italian Serie A, and that has been the story from there. We'll take one more call before we bounce this afternoon, or maybe one more call and one transfer story. Victor, keep it at 25 seconds, Victor. Yeah.
Please tell Mr. Easy to mind his own club. Leave Manchester United alone. And secondly, I beg, just tell me one thing. This takeover of something, is it going to work or not?
Now, the takeover currently, it's on the Glazer family because the two parties, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Qatari banker, have made their bids. But it's now on the Glazer family to either accept or reject a bid, and the family are sitting right now on top of a very high fence. That's it for the show. One for the road. Blyden, we hear United will send an official offer for Andre Onana very soon. We should talk about David De Gea in 25 seconds, right? United told David De Gea, if you want to stay, you have to take a pay cut. Yeah. After so much hesitance and adamance, the man said, okay, I'll take a pay cut. And after agreeing to take a pay cut, United said, we're not signing a contract again. What exactly is the back and forth with United and David De Gea? Sounds like disrespect for me.
I think there are a lot of doubts over his capabilities as age advances, because I think last season...
But we know goalkeepers age with grace. If the people that age with grace is goalkeepers.
Last season, De Gea was a massive flop when you don't need him to be.
But he was also good when you needed him to be.
Yeah, of course. He was a massive flop when you don't need it. I think he cost us a couple of, matches and stuff like that.
10 seconds, Igwe. You think the decision to keep De Gea or let him go is based on age or based on the fact that he's not good at the ball?
The issue we have with David De Gea is that the fact that he can play out from the back, and it's a very important part of the game, because you need that distribution to be able to move into the game very well.
All right,
Mari, let me have a bite on this.
Please.
Time is almost up.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to go into all the conversation around it, but let me say this. The last time Manchester United did the ball-playing thing, it did not work out. Ball-playing defender Harry Maguire, and the fans were shouting all around the world, Harry Maguire, but it never worked out. Now they're talking about ball-playing goalkeeper, and they're talking about Onana. I can guarantee everybody that Onana will flop at Manchester United.
It's a conversation for tomorrow.
That Blyden said it.
Thank you very much, Blyden. Nego is smiling so mischievously. We'll talk about Onana and the chances at United. Thank you very much. Carlos, thank you. Blyden, thank you. Mekuri, for being a part of the conversation. We had a special guest today. Maybe you'll talk to us another day.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, that's it for the show. My name is Marizona, and I had the company of Blyden and Kim and Mekuri together. We're saying ciao, ciao. Adios. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Baraka de Salah, my people.
Oh, yes. Baraka de Salah. Somebody should give me ram today. Come on, I want to eat some ram. Ciao. See you tomorrow.